teacher.
How are you today?
Mm, good. I'm good.
Okay. Okay, Viet, we're going to do some speaking today, okay?
Okay.
So here I see. Okay, so last time we did part one. We're going to review part one today. Here. Okay, so last time we did part one, we said, what job would you like to have 10 years from now? Okay, what did we say? What job would you like to have 10 years from now?
Um, well, 10 years is a long time, but if I had to choose, I would choose a businessman. I have always wanted to be an owner of supermarket. I am currently observing my neighborhood who is a businessman and owner of supermarket.
Good job, well done. How useful will English be for your future?
Well, since English is the most widely spoken language around the world, so there is no doubt that this language is going to be very useful for my future, especially in regards with finding a better career opportunity and communication.
Good job. How much traveling do you hope to do in the future?
I have always had a strong desire for traveling. I have traveled to many places in my own beautiful country, as well as to three countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. Actually, I am planning to do a lot of traveling in my future to other foreign countries. Again, so because I should have more money and free time to spend after settling down with my life and career.
Yes, good job. How do you think your life will change in the future?
It is rather uncertain how my life will change in the future. But one thing is for sure that I will become very busy with my study and my career in the USA. I want to have I would like to have a secure financial future in order to enjoy my life. And I also want to get married, and have a family, which is why I need to work hard to achieve this.
Yes, to achieve this. Good job. Okay. Right, now we're going to look at part two today. Describe a book that you enjoyed reading because you had to think a lot. What this book was, so the name of the book, why you decided to read the book, and what reading this book made you think about, and explain why you enjoyed this book. Okay, so do you like reading?
Yes,
Okay, what books do you like reading?
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, now, what book would you like to talk about today?
I gonna talk about Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, right. Okay, what is the name of the book?
I Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes
Okay,
is about
what it's about? Yes,
detective, right crime. Yeah,
crime.
yeah.
Okay, when did you read this book?
Because this book is very popular, and it make me feel it make me relax. There are a
Okay,
lot of things. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you read the book?
When did I read? A long time ago.
A long time ago. Okay. And why did you read the book?
Because this book is very popular,
It's a popular book.
and
Okay.
yeah, and also I am a big fan of detective book. De-
Okay.
detective book.
It's a detective book.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, let's have a look at what does this book make you think about?
Um. There are a lot of things in each how to call it one. Let me translate.
You wanted to learn about uh,
There
detective
are a lot.
work?
I mean, there are a lot of things in each case. I need things to uh, think to catch the crimes, the murders.
You wanted to learn about crimes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, okay. And what did you enjoy about this book? Why did you enjoy this book? What did you enjoy about the story?
Um, I say that because I am a big fan of Sherlock Holmes.
You're a fan
And
about that? Yeah.
yeah, and also I just think he's smart. I want to become like him.
Okay. Okay, so you can start your introduction with something like, I don't have a lot of time or opportunities to read many books these days because you're busy with your studies. However, however, I just got a little lucky last summer when I got some time off from my studies to read. Um, So you can say here, I don't really get much time to read or opportunities to read many books these days. Probably because I am just too busy studying. But I guess I just got a little lucky last summer when I got some time off from school. And that's when I managed to read a good book, which actually made me think a lot. Okay, so you can start off like that. You can say, I don't really get much time to read or opportunities to read many books these days, probably because I am just too busy studying. But I,
Yes.
you can, no, we can say that, but I manage, however, I managed to read um, during our summer break or summer holiday. I don't really get much time to read or opportunities to read many books these days, probably because I am just too busy studying. However, I managed to read during our summer holiday, and that's when I managed. No, you can say, however, I managed to read during our summer holiday, and that's when I read a good book, which actually made me think a lot. Okay, so that's you can start off with. Now we're saying what the book is called and why you decided to read it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what this book was. Now you can say here the book I am talking about is called
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, okay, which is written, you can say who wrote it, and published in, and the year that it got published. So tell the people about the book. The book I'm talking about is called Sherlock Holmes, which is written by, who wrote the book? Did Sherlock Holmes write the book? Okay,
No.
and then you can, okay, so the author, and published. When was it published? 1903, 1989, 2005, okay? So tell us when it was published. Then you can say, then you talk about the main character. The main character in this book are and you talk about the main character in this book.
Yeah.
Then you carry on and say, this is such a book that it would be really difficult for a reader to withdraw it in just one sitting. And at the end of reading it, one sure would be able to put this is such a book that it would be really difficult for a reader to withdraw it in just one sitting. And at the end of reading it, one sure would be able to put a smile on one's face and restore spirit at a time when so much negativity is around us. So this book has a positive effect as well, because you learn about crimes, but you also learn about how you solve them. So you could say this is a book, such a book that it would be really difficult for a reader to withdraw it in just one sitting. And at the end of reading it, one sure would be able to put a smile on one's face and restore spirit at a time when so much negativity is around us. Okay. And now you can say what this book was, why you decided to read it, what reading this book made you think about. Okay, so now you can say, let's move us, so I can move this here. Okay, so there. Now we can say why we decided to read it. Okay. Okay, so by the way, so now why you decided to read it. Now, I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes. Did you know about Sherlock Holmes before you read the book, or you didn't know about him?
Um, I know Sherlock Holmes through the film, and I decided to read book.
Tell me again, how did you learn about him?
Uh, through the films.
The film.
Film.
Okay, yes, the TV show.
Yes.
I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes. Um, okay. By the way, I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes. Um, okay. But when I incidentally saw the TV show, I came to know about him in great detail. And it was at that time that I decided to watch all of the shows and read the book. Um, by the way, so why did you decide? By the way, I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes, but when I incidentally saw the TV show, I came to know about him in great detail. And it was at that time that I decided to watch all of the shows and read the book. Okay. So, what reading this book made you think about and why you enjoyed it? So, let's do the last two of these here. So, you can say, anyway, I enjoyed reading this book from start to finish, primarily because it had me think a lot. In fact, I was losing my mind just to even imagine. Okay, so now you can say something about the movie or the book. So you can say, anyway, I enjoyed reading this book from start to finish, primarily because it had me think a lot. In fact, I was losing my mind just to even imagine how he solved all the crimes very in a very quickly or in a professional manner. So you can say something about the book or something about Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is a really special character. He's not normal. He's got a type of, you can't say that he's sick or he's got a disability, that he doesn't like to touch things. He doesn't want to touch people. He's scared of germs. So you can say something about him here. I was losing my mind just to even imagine how he could solve crimes in his special manner. Okay, so say something
Yeah.
about him. Okay, and then explain why I enjoyed reading book. Okay, and okay, so that's what you can say there, more or less. So that's about Sherlock Holmes. Okay, let's see if you can tell me more. Okay, so describe a book that you are talking about.
Um, I don't really get much time to read or opportunities to read many books these days, probably because I am just too busy studying. However, I managed to read book during our summer holiday, and that's when I read book. I read a good book which actually made me think a lot. The book I am talking about is called Sherlock Holmes, and which is written by uh, is British outdoor author Conan Doyle. and published in 1887. The
Mm.
main, tra- the main character in this book are the Sherlock Holmes, and this is a short book that I would be really difficult for a reader to it, withdraw it in just one sitting. And at the end of reading it, one sure would be able to put a smile on one's face and restore spirit at a time when so much negative is around us. By the way,
Mm.
I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes, but when I incidentally saw the TV show, I came to I came to know about him in great detail, and it was at that time I decided to watch all of the shows and read the books. Anyway, I enjoy this read this book from start to finish, prim- primarily because it helped me think a lot. In fact, in fact, I was losing my mind just to even imagine how to know clearly about Sherlock Holmes and catch.
Okay. Okay. So what is it that you like the most about this book? What do you like the most about this book?
The most I think the most the book is the book has a lot of details,
Mm.
information, and I'm have to think about it. That's why I love that book. I think it is the best way for me to practice and
Okay.
become smart.
And to become smart. Okay. So let's say, tell me one more time. Describe a book that you enjoyed reading because you had to think a lot.
I don't really get much time to read this day. Probably I because I am just too busy studying. However, I managed to read during our summer holiday, and just when I read a good book which actually made me think a lot. The book I am talking about is called Sherlock Holmes, which is written by British author, author Conan Doyle and published but the first published in 1887. The main character in this book are the Sherlock Holmes. This is such a book that it would be really difficult for a reader to withdraw it in just one sitting. And at the end of reading
Okay.
it, one sure would be able to put a smile on one's face and restore spirit at a time when so much negative is around us. By the way, I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes, but when I incidentally saw the book show, I came to know about him in great detail. And it's what at that time that I decided to watch all the shows and read up the book. Anyway, I enjoy reading this book from start to finish, primarily because it had me think a lot. In fact, it I was losing my mind just to even imagine how to cut RAM and use their details.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you want to read it one more time? Or
Mm,
do you want to read it one more time, or do you want me to
one,
take it away?
one more time.
You want to read one more time? Okay, let's read it one more time.
I don't really get much time to
Okay,
read.
describe. Yes, you can read it.
I don't really get much time to read many books these days, probably because I am just too busy studying. However, I managed to read during our summer holiday, and that's when I read a good book, which actually made me think a lot. The book I am talking about is called Sherlock Holmes, which is written by British author, author, author Conan Doyle and published in 1887. And the main character in this book are Sherlock Holmes. He is smart. This is a short book that it would be really difficult for a reader to withdraw it in just one sitting. At the end of reading it, one sure would be able to put a smile on one's face and restore spirit at a time when so much negative is around us. By the way, I didn't really know much about Sherlock Holmes, but when incidentally saw the book's TV show, I came to know about him in great detail. And it's what at that time that I decided to watch all of the show and read the book. Anyway, I enjoyed read this book from start to finish. Primarily is because it had me think a lot. In fact, I was losing my mind just to even imagine how to use their information clearly. Clearly. Okay.
Okay. Now you can read it to me one more time or tell me one more time and then I'm going to take it away, okay? Describe a book that you enjoyed reading because you had to think a lot.
Get I don't really get much time to read book this day because I'm just too busy studying. And however, I managed to read during my hour holiday, and just when I read a good book which actually made me think a lot. The book I am talking about is called Sherlock Holmes. It is written by British author Conan Doyle and published in 1887. The main character in that book is in the books are the Sherlock Holmes. This is the sort of book that I would be really difficult for a reader to withdraw it in just one sitting. And at the end of the reading it, one sure would be able to put a smile on one's face and restore spirit at the time when so much negative is around. By the way, I didn't really know about Sherlock Holmes, but when incidentally saw the TV show and I came to know about him in a great detail. And it was at that time I decided to watch all of the shows and read the book. Anyway, I enjoyed reading this book from start to finish. Primarily because it had me think a lot. In fact, I was losing my mind just to even imagine how to use their information in each case clearly.
Okay. Now I'm going to take it away and see if you can still tell me again, okay? Okay,
Okay.
so Okay. Describe a book that you enjoyed reading because you had to think a lot.
Actually, I don't really get too much time to read this book uh, to read book these days because I am busy to I'm busy studying. However, I managed to read book in my own holiday. That's when I read a good book, and I'm gonna be tell you about the book. I'm gonna tell you about the book. The book is called Sherlock Holmes. It's written by British author Conan Doyle and published in 1887. And the main character in this book are the Sherlock Holmes. Honestly, it's the best book I have ever read. Um, I think it's difficult for the reader to read because it has a lot of information and details. And uh, um, yeah, in the end of in the end of reading, one should be one thing always sure that ev- all the negative around us gonna be restored or gonna be removed. By the way, I didn't know about too much about Sherlock Holmes, but suddenly I saw it. I saw him on the TV show. I came to know about him in a great information. So I decided to watch uh, all all the movies, and read the book. Uh, to say the least, I enjoyed reading book from the start to the finish because it had me think a lot. In fact, I just even I just do I am in fact I was losing my mind to even imagine how to use their information in each case clearly. Oh,
Okay. Okay, good. Now, let's have a look at, you've got a good idea of what to say. Let's have a look at discussion topics, part 3, children and reading. What are the most popular types of books, children books in your country? What does your friend read? Do they all read Sherlock Holmes?
no, because Stockholm hasn't a picture. It's
Oh,
just it's just yeah, it's just a letter, so it isn't suitable for children.
children. So what do the children read in your country then?
In Vietnam, children tend to all the children are not all many children are a big fan of uh the books from um Japan, Saga, Conan, Doraemon. It's just an anime, and it's
Oh,
very suitable for them. The picture
oh,
is the picture is beautiful and easy to understand.
Easy to understand. Oh, okay, yes. So they enjoy pictures and they also enjoy something that they can understand.
Yeah.
So do they like comic books?
Yes. Um, I think comic book is a best book seller in Vietnam because I think I see every children every child has a book has a comic book and they read it every day.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see if we can answer this for you.
Okay.
Let's do children and writing. And here. Okay, let's see number one. So you can say here, well, different children like to read different types of books depending on their ages and interests. Okay, it also depends largely on what kinds of languages are used to write those books. But from my experience, I would say comic, funny, short stories, comedy books, uh, detective stories, and fairy tales are the most popular types of children's books in my country. Okay, so you can say something like that.
Yeah.
You can also say books with funny and beautiful pictures, fantasy, fairy tales, and rhymes are also popular among children in my country. So you can say something like that too. Let me just see if I've got this right. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's see if you can read this one.
Yes. Well, different children like to read different types of book depending on their age and interest. It also depends largely, largely on what kinds of language are used to write those books. But from my experience, I would say comic, funny short stories, comedy books, detective story, and fairy tales are the most popular types of children's book in my country. Books with funny and beautiful pictures, fantasy, fairy tales, and rhymes are
Right,
also popular among children in my country.
good.
Rhyme, rhymes.
Okay. Okay, let's see if you can read it one more time. What are the
Yes.
most popular types of children's books in your country?
Well, different children like to read different types of books depending on their age and on their interest. It also depends largely on what kind of language are used to write those books. But from my experience, I would say comic, funny short story, comedy books, detective story, and fairy tales are the most popular types of children's book in my country.